code switching was a way of life. It was how I maneuvered in society. It was how I maneuvered with my friends in the hood, and you know, and with my family. And then I could go into school and I, you know, speak crisp, you know, King's English,
I
right?
know, I know.
But then also wanting to kind of throw away the idea of respectability politics. At the same time, as I got older, I said, well, why is it that I have to code switch? Why can't I speak the way I want to speak, the way that is natural for me, and still articulate educated ideas and concepts? Why can't I be me fully
I love
without
that.
having to do that? And so I think as a Black female educator, it's important for me to show up however I choose to show up. Because, you know, like I said, like I always say to my children, you can't take away my education. You can't take away the things that's something that is a part of me. How I choose to communicate it, that too is a part of me. And so you can show up in the world your full self and still garner respect and still be able to move in spaces and feel as though you're supposed to be there. And so oftentimes, you know, math class is about the math, but a lot of times it's about let's talk. Let's have some real conversation. And then we could do the math. The math gets done after that. You'll see kids be like, all right, okay, you know, I could do this. And they'll engage. You know, I used to have classes where people would be like, this kid is always in the hallway and he's never, you know, he storms out of my class and he's this and he's so rude, but he's getting a 65 in your class. He's failing every other class. He's getting a 70 in your class. You gave him an 80. I said, well, he does work in my class. There is something.
There's something there.
Right. And you have to be that for all children.
Yeah.
You have to be that.
That's great. And I noticed it too. I noticed it in your class. But it's just that thing where it's that connection. And one thing that you said was just not, and for Black and brown kids, a lot of times, honestly, the school system is almost, a lot of schools is a white space, right? So you have to come in and put yourself to the side or leave yourself outside and then come in as this person that they want you to be. And that's a burden for a lot of our kids. And I love, for me, and I think you do a great job of this as well, is I love to be myself, to talk like I talk, dress like I dress, and to remind kids of the guy on the street or on the corner that they know. But still, and I catch kids all the time. I taught in a majority white school, and now we teach in a more diverse school, but I catch kids all the time just looking, like, whether they're white, Black, whatever, they're like Mr. Ellison, like, he's different than what they say or what I've been trained to believe a Black male should be, whether it's a Black male teacher, whether it's a teacher in itself, because you don't see a lot of Black men teachers, but then it's like, he's not like the Black men that the media portrays to be. He's smart, he's educated, and he's respected. And that alone can open up wonders for kids. That alone, just seeing that in itself can open kids' eyes to opportunities. Because a lot of times for Black people, and we come in and we have to fit the mold of what society wants us to be. There's kids in your class that like, I'm not that guy. I would never be that guy. I don't want to dress like that, talk like that's not me. That's not what I do naturally. So then they internalize that, like, I can never be given those opportunities. I can never reach wherever standard it is. I can never be a college educated kid because there's no one who looks like me or talks like me who've made it there. But when we present for both sides, when you present to Black and brown students that there's someone who can just be just like you and still be a teacher and be educated and be respected, that gives them opportunities. And for other kids, white kids or other kids, they gain a certain respect when they say, this teacher can talk in slang sometimes, but also talk proper. And I love them, I like them, I respect them. And that's another level of change that you can create by just being yourself as a teacher.
Absolutely. And I just have to say, you do that so well.
Thank you.
I
Thank
love
you.
the way you show up in our
Thank you.
school. I
Thank you.
just love it because it is so necessary.
It is.
It is so necessary. They oftentimes have, this construct that comes from media, that comes from the things they hear at home, that comes from what they observe and perceive the world to be. And the way you show up in our school, it shows that I can be a Black male, I can be educated, I can dress how I choose to dress, I can speak the way I choose to, and I can be respected. And I don't have to wow for respect. I don't have to show out. I don't have to put on. I don't have to be aggressive. I don't have to be passive. I can stand in my truth and who I am, and I can teach you.
Yes.
I can teach you and I can add to you. I can, help you grow. I can facilitate your growth. And we can do this together. And I think that is powerful, particularly because we don't see so many males, Black males in education. And they even have an initiative, to get more and more, because we don't see ourselves, as a part of the educated class. We don't see, and this is, I'm about to go here, okay? But particularly in America, there's been that trope that education is whiteness, and it's linked to whiteness, it's linked to moving up in society and who's at the top of society, and things like that. And what do you have to do? Do you have the right skin color? Do you speak the right way? Do you say ask instead of ask? Like all of that, right?
Yeah.
We have all of that in America, but outside of America, being educated is a Black thing. Outside, it's not a Black or white thing. It's a thing that everybody can, engage in. In the Caribbean, slaves could be educated. They had to be because they were the majority. The race and color politics were completely different in the Americas, in the Caribbean versus America. So now in America, they have this idea that, in order to be educated, you have to engage in the culture of power, right? You have to fit in that mold. And educators that break that mold, that fly against that, it's powerful. It's where change begins. And I've always, when I first started teaching, I always taught in predominantly Black and Hispanic communities. And, when I showed up as mommy. I look like their mom. I sound like their mom. I have a good call mom, and I still have, students that I taught years ago that they still refer to me as mom and give me that respect. But now I'm in a different space where, and I've tutored white children, and I'm now, working with more white children in a more diverse community. And it's beautiful to still have these kids calling me mom.
Yeah.
Without that connection. I have blonde hair and blue-eyed children, and that's powerful.
That's powerful, definitely.